But one of the things I've maintained and I've said throughout the years over and over on my channel and on my podcast regarding John Cena, and when he was getting a lot of the hate, I said that yes, there is a big part of his booking and the way WWE books him and pushes him that does give you that vibe of shoving him down your throat. But that's only because he's their biggest star. They shove all of their world champions down our throats. They always have. That is never different. But the problem is this is a guy that fans don't like. And I've always maintained that it was with a certain generation of fans. It was with a certain age bracket because John Cena, once he kind of got away from Thugonomics and after the Benoit murders, Cena went towards that role model hero for kids type of persona. The fans who were getting into wrestling around that time, the fans that were maybe 15 to 25 in that age bracket, had just left the Attitude Era. And the Attitude Era was going on when they were kids, when they were just kids. And they probably weren't even allowed to watch a lot of what was going on. Where me, I was in my mid-20s, living on my own. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. But if you're 9, your mom probably doesn't want you watching the guys telling each other to suck it and chicks flashing themselves and language and blood and booze and drugs, all that stuff that was going on during the Attitude Era. A lot of the fans of that generation missed out on that because they were too young. Now they're old enough to enjoy that type of content, and WWE's flipped it on. WWE's flipped the script. Now, sorry, you might be an adult now. Now you're 18 and you can, you're all ready for, the middle fingers and the beer and the blood, but we're not going to do that anymore. Now we're going to go TV PG. We're going to have this Barney Fruity Pebble fucking babyface champion. We're going to have a cartoony ass show on Saturday mornings and Saturday Morning Slam. Remember that? It reminded me of WWF Mania, just dumber. And they did all of this, and I maintained forever. I'm like, the fans are so mad. That's where all this anger comes from, is because they didn't want that. They just hit the age of adulthood, and WWE's reverse shit on them. And I think it really frustrated them. Plus, the way Cena was booked and shoved down the throats, that really created this, this uprising of hate to where it would just became the thing to do to hate John Cena. Even if it didn't make sense, doesn't matter. The guy's cancer, can't wrestle. He's killing the business. WWE will be out of business. TNA will be the number one company if they continue to push John Cena. All these ridiculous things that were nowhere near even remotely true. And there was so much just disgust for John Cena, just the way he was and the way he conducted himself, the way he went out there and kissed the babies and talked to the kids and did the Make-A-Wish stuff. And really his promos were very white meat, very heartfelt, and at times very emotional. Remind you of someone in WWE right now? Coming out, kissing the babies, tearing up at the mere mention of his mom. And what is the crowd doing? They're cheering. Because those bitter, angry, juvenile, adolescent fans that were so mad that they had to put up with this bullshit TV PG hero, they've grown up now. They can appreciate this. And what's funny about the timing of this on Cody is, like, think about Cody. And granted, WWE's doing things better with Cody and his presentation and his booking than they were doing with Cena. And you got to remember, Cody's only been back in WWE for about a year if you take out his injury. But in the ring, he's only been back in the company for about a year. John Cena, it took about 5 years for this to happen, right? Maybe less. Maybe he was over in 03, 04, 05 by the time they got to 06. So maybe 3-4 years there, and shit started to burn off with Cena. But Cody's only in his first year, but still, you see a distinct difference. You don't hear those boos. The fans really like Cody. They enjoy singing his song. They don't find him to be corny or cheesy, even though his promos, they're not edgy or anything like that. But Cody is an excellent professional wrestler. Think about who his dad is. He's not out there trying to be his dad or trying to be more over the top or flamboyant. Cody really is being himself. And I see a lot of how WWE presented. There was somebody in the chat last week who got all butthurt because I mentioned Cody and Cena in the same breath. But they do have similar roles in the company right now. Cena is not in the company. He's off doing movies. So the spot that Cena had, he left an empty hole there. You got to plug that hole with something. And with Roman as their other biggest star, who's currently a heel, who can still do the talk shows and everything because he represents the company very well, Cody is the guy that's going to give you that John Cena level of of professionalism. You saw him the other night at the house show. He stuck around for an hour after the show, signing autographs, and the production team is like breaking down the set around him, and he's just out there taking pictures, doing whatever he can. He seems to want this. He seems to welcome it. If they do strap him up, he's going to be an excellent representation of a world champion, and a champion WWE should be proud of to send out there into the world and say, hey, this is our guy. Not to mention, he happens to have one of the most famous fathers in all of professional wrestling's history. That's pretty cool. Dusty Rhodes is the first memory I ever had in professional wrestling, seeing him choke superstar Billy Graham in a magazine. And that's cool to see his kid out there making it to this degree. And I was thinking about that tonight, the comparisons between Cody and Cena. I'm like, if you put this Cody Rhodes in 2010 or whatever year you guys think Cena's hate was at its maximum, and you put this very same Cody in that environment, the fans might reject that, because that was just that type of character. The fans did not want that. So my question is, what is Cody doing? What is Cody doing that's different than Cena? What's Cody doing that gets him the cheers compared to Cena getting the boos? When you look at their promos side by side, I would argue John Cena might be a better promo cutter than Cody Rhodes. John Cena is an excellent promo cutter. They say a lot of the same things. They're always very complimentary to the audience, to the universe, to the fans. And they're always very kind and very good to kids. They always acknowledge family members. Family is very important to them. Maybe more so to Cody, because I guess Cena is still single, from what I understand. Is he? Or did he get married? I don't even know. But they have so many similarities that I wonder if it was just a timing thing. You know, Cena came around at the wrong time. If Cody came first, and the fans are like, fuck this, we don't like this guy, he's kissing too many babies, we hate him, we want Austin and Rock, and we want swearing and middle fingers and blood, right? And then after Cody has that long polarizing career, and he's off making movies right now, Cena comes in with his Cena character, who's a hero, who little kids dress up like. You know, because all those fans that were shitting on Cena years ago, I bet you it warms your heart to see a little kid in the audience. Like, I've been starting to go to shows again for WWE since 2018, and to see the little 6-year-olds in the green shit, it's fucking adorable. I'm happy they have that to look up to, you know, but younger fans are more selfish and they don't think that way, but older fans do. So I think a lot of those anti-Cena fans, and those ones that were the loudest and most profoundly dumb about the whole thing, a lot of them are probably looking at Cody in a completely different light than they were looking at Cena back then. And it's a really interesting kind of dynamic there, because I see the two of them in a very similar kind of spot in the company. And once they do put the title on Cody, time will tell if he'll turn into Cena, because it's really hard to compare the two right now, because John Cena had 17 championships and 10 years of, you know, literally them sticking them right up our rectums. You know, we're still early on in Cody to where all of that hasn't worn off. And I've been worried ever since Cody came in that his popularity was going to fizzle, but it feels like it's rising. And now it's starting to be about that song. That's going to wear off too, because Judas was fun for a while. And now people shit on Judas. Now everybody finds it's too dumb and it's too lame. And why are we singing that? I'm like, everybody was singing. Everybody was singing it. Everybody. The people who say it sucks were singing it at first. Yes, you were. So Cody has said that that's his music for life. I hope that the fans singing the song doesn't do it a disservice in the long term to where the fans don't want to hear it anymore, because Cody apparently wants that to be his song. And I'd hate for the fans to ruin it because they sing it, but just the fact that they're singing it to that degree, those woes it's the new thing in wrestling, and WWE's popularity is rising. I mean, basically the minute Cody got there, that also coincided with Vince McMahon getting caught with his hand in the pussy jar and all of that stuff happening. But it's interesting timing. Like, the minute Cody got there, everything started to change. Numbers were up, attendance were up. Look at the numbers they're doing for some of these Raws. They had over 10,000 tonight in Atlanta. A lot of the ticket sales for upcoming TV events are selling out. Like, what the fuck? 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, prior to the pandemic and even after the pandemic. But I definitely remember like 2018 and 2019, like, shit sucked. There's no reason to go to a show. They were tarping off half of the damn building for Raws and SmackDowns. And we talked about it. It was a topic brought up on this podcast several times. We were like, why does WWE book these big arenas when they're only drawing 3,000 people for Raw? You put it in a smaller building where it looks more intimate, you can have a better atmosphere. And that's what we saw AEW do. They don't book these big arenas unless it's a big market or it's a pay-per-view. Otherwise, the arenas are generally in the 5 to 12,000 seat range, and they fill it up pretty nicely, and it looks good for TV. And WWE had that problem of filling like a quarter of the building. Now they're selling out.